Romance. Do you like reading romance? Because I do. I've been a massive romance fan all my life, and I've actually written a standalone romance, which I shall be bringing out as soon as I can. I wrote that at the same time as the 5 books in the Children of Pisces series. And I want to talk to you today about Tammy and Jax, which is my favourite romance throughout this series, and the struggle and battle that they go through in order to have that um, relationship at a very, very difficult time in a dystopian future. So I love romance. There's a lot of romance in this book. Later in the series, Mikey, who is the telepath, gets a bit of an obsession of somebody that he's not overly thrilled about. So there is an obsessive relationship for Mikey in the future. If you have read book 2, then you will have met Mina, and you will know that Mina doesn't like boys. She is not really likely to like boys. So there is a guy who is absolutely obsessed with her, and their romance is going to be quite tragic because she's not interested in him. But she does become interested in 2 other girls in book 3, and then she gets quite torn as to who she actually wants to be with. But today I'm going to talk to you about Tammy and Jax, who you meet in book 1. Now, Tammy is one of the quadruplets, the children of Pisces. So the 4 children of Pisces, they're half human, half alien. Human mother, alien father, crystal technology dating back to Atlantis. And my series takes you back to Atlantis and Egypt, where it all began. So Jax is just a normal human. He's just a normal, awkward teenage boy. But because of the pandemic situation, his studies are enhanced. So you don't take as long going through college and university anymore because there's not enough teachers. So you get taught things very more precise very early on. You're in orphan schools, and you know, we just need the young people trained up fast. So you're getting your education very quickly. You don't get the luxury of choosing your GCSEs and seeing what you wish to select and then changing your mind later. You have to select your career on this earth early, because those holes need to be filled, and we need children trained ASAP in order to replace the adults that have gone. So Jax, at a very young age, is a very qualified, knowledgeable vet. He knows a lot about animals, more than a young boy should, and he's actually better than a lot of adult vets who have been doing it for ages, just because he's really smart. He's not just NASA level smart, he's also a computer whiz kid. So he falls in love with Tammy. And you can see from book 1, from the start, from the moment they meet, that their love is difficult because they're preparing for a war. How can you have time to, enjoy your relationship if you're preparing for a war? And also, how can you be a normal human boy in love with a half alien, half human girl with superpowers? She has ESPs. He's just like plain and boring next to her. But is he? So, as my son pointed out, Jax is his favourite character because he's an awkward teenager boy, but he's really smart with computers, technology, and animal care, and he's amazing. And when a human gets injured, he can help them too. So he is actually, as my son said, just as powerful as the half alien children, in a different way. So he's one of his favourite characters that he can relate to. But of course, as we go through the series, in the Matrix where you get plugged in at the back and they download information fast, something similar to that happens to these children when their father speed trains them into warriors. Now, I won't give anything away at this point, but it's not in the back of the head like in the Matrix, and it's called tank training. So I will tell you more about that in book 4 because I'm not going to give that away. But when it comes to tank training, and this is what breaks my heart, is because Jax feels physically sick being in love with Tammy, because all he thinks is he's going to lose her. At some point, she's going to get killed. At some point, she's going to die. And he is just absolutely determined to save her so that she can have a life and a future with him. And that's all he's besotted with her, and he wants her to have happiness in life, and he sees her struggle with the animals. And because he's a vet and he loves animals too, he's probably the only other person apart from Mikey who truly understands the pain that she is going through, because she directly feels the animals' emotions and pain. So because Mike is a telepath and he's highly connected to Tammy as well, he does understand this. So Mikey, Tammy and Jax are like a three group friendship. The friendship between Jax and Mikey is gorgeous. And Mikey teaches Jax to fight and cross trains, uses his telepathic powers to help practice and cross train his martial arts skills onto Jax in order to help Jax protect Tammy with him more. And it's just so romantic and lovely, because there's this one part in book 2 that really touches me, where Jax hides. He gets on the spaceship. He's so relieved that Tammy's not going to die again, that he just takes a moment. He hides in the corner and he's just closed his eyes, going, and he's just preparing himself to face her and look brave. Whereas he feels physically sick because he thought he'd lost her again. And it's so sweet when you see he's trying to look strong for her, but he's absolutely terrified of losing her. And that gets stronger. And then one of the sweetest things for me, and this is a bit of a spoiler alert, but I'm going to give you this one, is when her alien father comes back to Earth and he's going to do the tank training and train his children up to fight like incredible ninjas that they're going to be. And they're already powerful from the start, so imagine what they're going to become after the tank training. Jax goes up to Tammy's dad and he asks him to push him to extreme limits to meet his ultimate potential, so that he can be as strong as he physically can as a human to help Tammy. And it's like, and it's so lovely because he does that because he doesn't care about the pain he goes through, and he goes through a lot of pain in order to achieve that. And Tammy's father, he says, "Are you sure? Because no human man has ever survived that sort of level of training, let alone a young teenager boy." And Jax is like, "I'm willing to take the risk," because he's so lovely that the way he sees it, he would rather risk dying to be as strong as he can to save her. And it's just beautiful. So that comes out in book 4. And throughout the series, so book 1, we focus on Africa, Japan, Mikey and Tammy. Book 2, we learn more about Mina and her feistiness and attitude. And in book 3, we learn about Diego and he's got the most powers. They're so powerful. I mean, to control storms and electricity. And in his watch, he has the pillars of creation and stars, no, massive. So he's really, really powerful. And then in book 4, it's all about their father and the tank training. And book 5 is the war. So Jax is on borrowed time. It's terrifying for him, and his love for Tammy is lovely. In return, she's scared of letting him love her or her loving him in case she causes him to die. So it's one of the most beautiful romances I have ever enjoyed, and I hope you enjoy it too.